This is from our Grand Casino cam. Meteorologist Shelby Hayes, and she's telling us it's going to be a little bit cooler today, but still going to be a beautiful day.
Minutes ago, a white object suddenly breaks apart and zips around like crazy before vanishing into thin air right above Oklahoma City. Everyone was talking about it, trying to figure out what it was. What if no one had caught these eerie events on camera? Let us expose these UFO mysteries that could quickly take over our civilization. The sky's hidden wonders unveiled. At such a high altitude, witnesses got a front row seat to an unusual show. The sky seemed to show off a parade of strange things, from glowing orbs to unidentified flying objects. Just when you think you've seen it all, these things pop up and surprise everyone. Back in February 2020, an Airbus A320 was flying over Medellin, Colombia on its regular route. But the captain was about to see something shocking. At 30,000 feet, there was a strange, metallic object. Pilots, who see the skies daily, often spot these unusual sights. When the captain zoomed in with his phone, he saw a dark metal cube with spikes. It wasn't shiny like a balloon. It looked more sinister. Some thought it might be an alien ship. If that's true, should we get ready for an alien encounter? Passengers on a flight from Los Angeles also saw something strange near their plane, flying over 20,000 feet. It was diamond-shaped and moving incredibly fast, which caused a buzz online when the footage went viral. When we hear about UFOs, we often think of alien ships and beings from other planets. But the truth might be less exciting. These sightings could be drones, weather balloons, weird cloud shapes, or optical illusions. Still, the chance of meeting something unknown always fills us with wonder and a bit of fear. But that wasn't the strangest part. Another weird sighting involved a UFO shaped like a Dorito, spotted about 3,000 feet above the ground. This strange Dorito-shaped object seemed almost too weird to be real, leaving people both amazed and doubtful. The person who filmed it was shocked, hardly believing his eyes as he recorded the scene. The huge size and possible implications of this object added to the mystery as it hovered in the sky, making people wonder if it was about to unleash something unknown onto the world. Imagine looking up at the sky during a storm and seeing a large, clear shape that looks like someone holding a cane. It's a sight that leaves people both amazed and confused. What could have caused such an image to appear? Meanwhile, in Canada, UFO sightings have always intrigued people. One particular UFO was caught on camera and seemed to defy all usual explanations. It hovered in the air, shining with a fiery glow that made it stand out against the calm sky. This strange sighting caught the attention of a Canadian writer who studies UFO encounters, especially because Quebec is known for many such mysterious sightings. The object didn't have any visible way of moving, which made it even more interesting. It didn't fly across the sky or move with the wind. Experts, including a video analyst and an aviation specialist, looked at the footage closely. They thought the object might be a three-dimensional balloon with a shiny surface that reflected sunlight in a weird way, making it look like it was on fire. But they couldn't be sure why it looked so strange. But that wasn't the strangest part. Another sighting added to the mystery. A passenger on an airplane filmed a tic-tac-shaped UFO high above the mountains. This object glowed brightly and moved in strange ways, stopping suddenly in mid-air before speeding away incredibly fast, almost like it was breaking the laws of physics. The footage was very clear, showing quick movements that even experienced observers found puzzling. Over in China, a man thought he was filming a strange bird, but saw something even more surprising when he zoomed in. The shape changed dramatically. It wasn't a bird, but looked like a dragon with big wings, flying towards the mountains. The sight was so clear and unexpected that it excited people and made them wonder about undiscovered creatures in remote places. These unique and fascinating sightings create a picture of incidents that challenge what we know about the world. From strange shapes in stormy skies in the USA to mysterious flying objects in Canada and a mythical dragon in China, these events make us think about the mysteries beyond what we understand. Each story is full of details and mystery, leaving a lasting impression on those who are curious about the unknown. But this wasn't the strangest part. In Malaysia, a shocking discovery was made on a plane where a snake was found stuck in an aircraft wing. The video showed airport workers carefully removing the snake, preventing any potential danger to passengers inside. This incident highlighted the crucial role of thorough inspections by airline pilots and engineers before takeoff. But another alarming incident soon grabbed attention. Forgotten passengers, strange tales from the sky. These assorted events, ranging from ghostly airport sightings to unexpected wildlife encounters, create a mix of strange and unexpected moments that occasionally disrupt our everyday lives. Each story invites curiosity and wonder, reminding us of the mysteries that can lie just around the corner or up in the sky. Tiffany found herself in a scary situation on an Air Canada plane. She had fallen asleep and woke up 2 hours after the plane had landed, completely alone. Before her phone died, she sent a frantic message to her friend, explaining what had happened. With no power and surrounded by darkness, she couldn't recharge her phone. Desperate, she searched the plane and found a flashlight in the cockpit, trying to signal for help. But it was so dark, she could barely see. Eventually, her friend called the authorities and she was rescued. This scary incident made people question how safe passengers really are. But that wasn't the only strange event happening. In Scottsdale, Arizona, residents were baffled by a mysterious bright blue object in the sky. The object, glowing and spinning, caught everyone's attention near McDowell and Hayden Road. People were left wondering what it could be, and videos of the event only made them more curious. Meanwhile, at Boston Beach in Massachusetts, something even more unusual happened. A sea creature, looking like something out of ancient legends, was seen emerging from the water. People with cameras zoomed in to capture a kraken-like creature with a massive tail. It appeared briefly before disappearing back into the ocean, leaving everyone in awe. But this wasn't the last strange sighting. One day, as people went about their normal lives, an enormous winged creature suddenly darkened the sky. Its appearance caused a mix of awe and fear among the witnesses. No one knew what it was, but its presence was unforgettable, leaving behind a trail of wonder and many questions. In a remote corner of Asia, perhaps in the bustling streets of China or the serene landscapes of Japan, a peculiar video emerges. Captured by an unseen observer, the footage offers only a brief glimpse into an extraordinary event, yet it is enough to capture the collective attention of everyone present. As the camera points skyward, the clouds part to reveal an anomaly, a shimmering formation that dances between the realms of myth and reality. Onlookers, transfixed by the sight, seem to gaze at either a mythical dragon unfurling its celestial wings or a supernatural spectacle unfolding before their very eyes. The streets, usually bustling with the hum of daily life, fall into a hushed awe as every face turns upward, eyes wide with wonder. The phenomenon in the sky, consisting perhaps of glowing orbs or drones arranged in a mysterious configuration, sparks a torrent of speculation. But that's not the most surprising part. A pilot once saw a mysterious red light while flying over the Pacific Ocean. This odd sight made some people think about aliens or military exercises. At first, the pilot joked about it being a military exercise or an alien invasion. Online, people had various ideas, from underwater volcanic activity to unidentified flying objects. But the most likely explanation for the red lights seems to be commercial fishing boats, using strong red LEDs to attract fish, making the water glow in an eerie way. Meanwhile, in Moscow, a person saw a saucer-shaped cloud hovering over Andropov Avenue. He filmed it on his smartphone, clearly puzzled, trying to figure out if it was an alien spaceship or just a weird cloud. The cloud, shaped like a flying saucer, left everyone confused as they tried to figure out what it was. But this wasn't the strangest part. Imagine you're flying 20,000 feet high, maybe even higher, just having a regular day on a plane. Suddenly, Out of nowhere, something completely shocking appears. Picture a passenger looking out the window and seeing something that makes no sense. A shocking sight amidst an ordinary flight. These moments remind us of the vast and often unexplored mysteries our world and beyond might hold. From California to Massachusetts, Boston experienced a beautiful sunset, with skyscrapers rising above a thick blanket of clouds, even though there was a fog advisory. Imagine seeing this amazing view from an airplane. It would definitely be awe-inspiring. Now think about being on a Qantas Airways flight to Papua New Guinea. Suddenly, a passenger spots what looks like a snake's head coming out of the engine. The flight crew rushes over and sees the snake trying to wiggle back toward the wing. Despite the pilot turning the plane around, the snake clings to the aircraft, enduring freezing temperatures. It keeps trying to pull itself back as the plane nears its destination. But this wasn't the worst part. A young man records a strange phenomenon in the sky. An odd creature with moving limbs appears, at first seeming unbelievable. Some people think it could be an angel descending from heaven or a divine sign, but no one can agree on what it really is. Over in Taiwan, people are puzzled by a mysterious blue light in the sky, shaped somewhat like a person. Those who see it talk about it in the video, equally confused and intrigued, with no clear understanding of what it might be. And yet, this wasn't the end of the mystery. As the sightings continue, another strange event unfolds. The diamond in the clouds. Adding to these strange sightings, an unusual diamond-shaped object is spotted in the sky on a cloudy day. As observers zoom in, the shape becomes clearer, raising questions about whether it might be an alien spacecraft or something even more beyond our understanding. Each event, captured and shared, makes us think about the vast, unexplained mysteries of our world. But this still wasn't the most puzzling part. People witnessed a strange event in the sky that slowly faded back into the clouds, leaving everyone puzzled. It was very confusing for those who saw it, sparking lots of discussions online. People were eager to share their thoughts and theories about the unusual sighting. This strange object was first seen over the Caribbean islands of Cuba last summer. It looked like a white orb that kept spinning around, moving like a radar and scanning the area in all directions. This odd movement made people wonder if it wasn't an alien spacecraft, but maybe a secret radar system being tested by the US Navy. Since there are US military bases nearby, it seemed possible that they could be connected to this advanced technology. But that wasn't the only strange thing happening. On another day, with clear and sunny skies, people stepped outside their homes and saw something amazing and confusing. High above, a creature with wings was flying, reminding everyone of ancient legends and prehistoric times. Could it really be a dragon? This creature looked old and powerful, capturing the imaginations of all who saw it. Cameras seemed to confirm what people were seeing. This creature did resemble a dragon, adding a sense of wonder and mystery to the day. But the surprises didn't stop there. As more people shared their experiences online, the stories fueled even more wild theories and discussions. Everyone was eager to figure out what these extraordinary sightings meant and where they came from. It was just another day in 2021 when something truly amazing happened. While you were out running errands, you saw something incredible in the sky. There were two figures glowing with white light, looking like angels, flying together perfectly. This wasn't just a quick glimpse. Even when the image was zoomed in by 400%, the figures were still clear and bright. But then, just as quickly as they appeared, they vanished into the blue sky without a trace. But that wasn't the strangest part. In another case, a video showed two people speaking Spanish with an odd background scene. There was an unidentified flying object on rocky ground. With a closer look using a zoom lens, the object was seen as circular, moving very fast and glowing brightly. People were left guessing about what it could be. In Sydney, Australia, another mysterious event was caught on video. Someone filmed what looked like a person flying through the sky. This was no ordinary sight. It looked like a person, but without a cape or any signs of a trick. It seemed like a real-life superhero flying up towards the heavens. But there's more. In Odessa, Ukraine, the sky put on a different kind of show. Strange clouds formed that didn't look like the usual fluffy white ones. People on the ground were amazed, pointing and wondering about these unique clouds that seemed to hint at something beyond what we know. These events from all around the world keep people talking and wondering. From angels in the sky to flying objects on rugged ground, and from flying figures in cities to unusual clouds, the world is full of amazing things that make us question what we think we know. Each day, these stories grab our attention, making us look up and wonder what else might be out there, just beyond our reach. The sighting of 3 angels above Japan left many people in awe and disbelief. These glowing figures flying in the sky shone with a bright white light that stayed strong even when zoomed in. But just as suddenly as they appeared, they vanished, leaving behind wonder and many questions. Were these angels sent from heaven? Or were they just like ancient myths of dragons? These kinds of sightings stir up strong emotions, filling those who see them with both wonder and a bit of fear. There was another amazing event that left people puzzled and deeply touched. Local experts, who usually aren't fazed by such things, thought this event was special, especially when experienced alone. It felt like having a personal guardian angel looking out for them, offering comfort against bad luck. These experts said the vision was just clouds that accidentally formed an angel shape, and they dismissed any further speculation. But personal experiences with such events make people think more deeply. What really was this heavenly sight that made even the calmest people rethink? Then there's the strange structure on the moon that has caught everyone's attention. The blurry footage doesn't quite show the detail, but it's interesting enough to capture the imagination of both the curious and the skeptical. The moon, which we see all the time, still holds secrets that seem just out of reach, but are incredibly fascinating. This structure, whatever it is, adds to the moon's mystery and our endless curiosity about what lies beyond Earth. This odd sight is not only intriguing, but also reminds us of the many unknowns waiting to be discovered. After these events, a new puzzling account arises. Glitches in reality, a night in Italy. There's something strange that looks like a bridge or a tower, but it's hard to tell what it is exactly. What's certain is that this object is where it shouldn't be. Oddly enough, there's a horse involved, and I can't figure out what's happening. Could it be a horse flying in the sky, or is there a glitch in reality? This story gets more interesting when we look at a video from 2005. A man recorded it during a nighttime walk in Italy. In the video, a horse is floating in the sky. Yes, floating. Since when do horses float? Are we being tricked into seeing horses in the sky? This situation is not only confusing, but also very rare. But this isn't the strangest part. In Japan, there's a video of the moon moving on its own. At first, it seems impossible, but the video clearly shows the moon traveling through the sky by itself. This sight is so strange, it might be supernatural. Then there's another video of a weird creature in the clouds. When the person filming zooms in, we see a creature with more than 6 legs, spinning around like it's stuck on a merry-go-round. This sight is both confusing and amazing, leaving many people in disbelief. Now imagine seeing a shadowy figure flying next to your car. In a video shot by a woman during a thunderstorm, this shadowy presence is clearly visible and leaves a trail behind it. There's no clear source or smoke, making this even more mysterious. Without a clear explanation, it stirs a deep sense of wonder and shock. But that's not all. In the mountains of Thailand, there's footage of a huge, monstrous creature. If it were an ordinary person, they wouldn't be visible from such a distance. This means the being captured on video is anything but normal. Its massive size and presence challenge what we think we know about what might live in remote, unexplored areas. Each of these videos makes us question the limits of what we know and the explanations behind what we see. High in the mountains, something strange is happening. People are shouting and arguing, trying to make sense of what they see. They can't figure out if it's a monster or something supernatural. If you were there and saw this, we want to hear your story. Tell us in the comments below. And keep watching, there's more coming up in this video. Next, we have an amazing scene. A blazing fireball zooming toward Earth. This fiery spectacle was caught on a dashcam over Bangkok and filmed by several amateur videographers from different angles. These videos show that it's not just a random sighting, but something truly remarkable. Around the 29th minute of the recording, viewers saw what looked like a glowing object. At first, they thought it was a meteor. At the same time, a satellite was reported to re-enter Earth's atmosphere. Experts from the National Astronomical Research Institute of Thailand said the object was likely from space and was burning up as it came down, luckily avoiding any major damage. At first, it seemed like a slow-moving balloon over Everett, Washington, but on closer look, it was a cluster of twinkling lights all over its structure. People watching were puzzled by its quiet, gentle float across the sky. Nothing like a drone or hot air balloon. It was covered in sparkling lights, something never seen before, making everyone question what it really was. But this wasn't the strangest part. The mystery grew when the scene shifted to the skies over the Netherlands. A passenger on a Ryan Air flight used their phone to film a strange object, a UFO. Even when the video was slowed down, the object disappeared from view, suggesting it was moving incredibly fast. This sight left passengers feeling confused and shocked. Seeing such an extraordinary thing stirred up a mix of emotions, mainly surprise and confusion, as they tried to understand what they had just witnessed. A recent video captured by an observant individual, a large snake-like object was seen in the sky, grabbing a lot of attention. This strange thing, which seemed to be about 10 to 20 feet long, looked like the legendary dragons we hear about in ancient stories, which people believe disappeared over 1,000 years ago. But when you take a closer look, you realize that this object isn't alive. It just floats in the air. This makes us wonder, if it isn't a dragon, could it be a kite? But a kite flying over 1,000 feet high makes the sighting even more puzzling. But this wasn't the only strange event. On a plane landing in Indonesia, a passenger found something terrifying in the overhead bin. It was a dark, foot-long insect that looked like a dangerous Asian forest scorpion. This scorpion is known for its aggressive nature. As passengers started to get their things, the scary creature crawled along the edge of the compartment with its big pincers and stinging tail before disappearing into the plane. Being stung by this scorpion can cause pain, swelling, redness, and numbness for days. When the flight crew arrived, the scorpion was gone, leaving everyone worried and uneasy. Just when we thought it was over, another remarkable sighting appears. A dance of lights in the night sky. Another odd video caused a lot of talk. It showed something in the sky that looked like a person floating in mid-air. This made people wonder if it was someone with special abilities or a UFO pretending to be a human. Some thought it could be an alien trying to look human, while others thought it might be a person with amazing powers flying in the sky. Despite all the guesses, the video kept spreading, with no clear answer about this strange sight. But this wasn't the only mystery in the sky. There were also mysterious lights moving erratically and behaving in strange ways. These lights, with no clear source or explanation, caught the attention and curiosity of many people, adding another strange event to the growing list of unexplained things happening in our atmosphere. When interest in unidentified flying objects is increasing, the term UAP is becoming popular. This new term, short for Unidentified Aerial Phenomena, is used by the US government to describe strange sightings in the sky. It replaces the old term UFO to sound more scientific and less scary. For example, a mysterious light in an Instagram video has caught people's attention, but no one knows where it came from. People are sharing their thoughts in the comments, adding to the mystery. Another strange sighting has captured the internet's imagination. Some people think it might be an angel. This figure, with white wings instead of arms, was seen flying upwards. Its strange appearance has sparked a lot of interest and debate online. People are fascinated by this figure because it seems to be something beyond our usual understanding. But the most surprising part is yet to come. A new video has added to the growing number of these mysterious sightings. It shows another flying figure, just as puzzling as the others. Each new video makes people more curious about what might be happening in our skies. With every sighting, the mystery deepens, challenging our ideas about what is possible, and it seems the questions are just beginning. Something strange was caught on camera on a cold evening in February 2024. At exactly 34 minutes 26 seconds into the recording, viewers noticed something odd hovering in the sky. The footage was taken at night, making it hard to see details, which only made it more mysterious. People couldn't figure out if it was a living thing, maybe even a person, or some unknown object floating in the dark. The video quickly grabbed a lot of attention and became a hot topic for discussion. Viewers were asked to share their thoughts in the comments, guessing what this strange sight could be. Was it just a trick of the light, a problem with the camera, or something much more interesting? But this wasn't the most puzzling part. As the video neared its end, at 34 minutes 52 seconds, another strange scene appeared. This time, a figure with unusually long arms and legs was seen flying past a nearby building. The silhouette moved in a creepy, smooth way, almost like it was gliding or floating. This sparked even more debate among viewers. Was this really a human-like figure, or was it another ghostly image briefly caught by the camera? The subscribers couldn't stop thinking about these strange sightings, and were eager to figure out the mystery. Each frame of the video was closely examined, with ideas ranging from optical illusions to supernatural events. The discussion kept growing, drawing in more people who shared their views on what might be happening. What were these beings? Where did they come from? And what did their sudden appearance mean for us? But there were still more questions. The community wanted to know why these figures appeared at that specific time and place. Could it be a sign of something bigger happening that night? Could it be a person flying through the air? This puzzling idea has many internet users scratching their heads, trying to find answers to a question that just doesn't seem to have a simple answer. As the debate heats up online, forums and social media are full of theories and guesses. People from all over the world are sharing their thoughts, trying to put together clues from different sightings and reports. Some think it might be advanced technology. Others whisper about supernatural events or hidden abilities among people. This widespread confusion only makes the mystery more interesting, as more and more people join in to find out the truth behind this strange phenomenon. But this wasn't the most surprising part. Every new video or image shared adds more excitement to the discussion, attracting both skeptics and believers. As more people become curious, the desire for a clear explanation grows, making this one of the most talked about topics on the internet today. Despite all the theories, no one has come up with a solid answer yet. But this wasn't the only twist in the tale.
Mike Markham's quest for tomorrow. The concept of time travel has always intrigued people. The thought of moving through different periods, whether to relive past moments or catch a glimpse of the future, excites the imagination. This fascination existed long before popular movies like Interstellar or Marvel films brought the idea to mainstream attention. At midnight, a mysterious figure appeared, claiming to control time. He vanished and returned with a future-dated newspaper. The headline, "The Day Time Stood Still." What could this mean? In the spring of 1995, a 21-year-old named Mike Markham, who was studying electrical engineering in the small town of Stanberry, Missouri, decided to build a time machine. His goal? To travel to the future and obtain winning lottery numbers, hoping to become rich. Despite not having formal training, Mike was determined to see his ambitious project through. Most of Mike's experiments took place on the back porch of his home, which was cluttered with old electronic appliances. Disassembled TVs, radios, and CD players were scattered all over. As he worked, Mike began noticing some unusual things happening. He was adjusting a device called a Jacob's ladder, which he had modified quite a bit. To do this, he built a special electronic transformer that could handle 20,000 volts, far more than the 120/240 volts that regular home outlets provide. Mike used wire hangers and even lasers to control the air temperature and pressure, which were crucial for his experiments. One day, Mike observed a small circular vortex about 8 inches wide. Curious about what it could do, he started throwing a metal screw into the vortex to see what would happen. Each time, the screw disappeared and then reappeared a few feet away just seconds later. Mike believed the screw was traveling through time, reappearing once the present had caught up with it. Excited by this discovery, Mike decided to take his experiment to the next level. He planned to build a much larger time machine, 8 feet in diameter, far bigger than the original 8-inch version. But he quickly ran into a major problem. He needed a massive amount of power to create a machine that could transport a human. While expanding his project, his device tragically caught fire. If Mike had decided to buy new parts for his machine, it would have cost him around $20,000 for each one. Instead, he chose a different route. He sneaked into a nearby power station and took 6 old parts to keep his experiments running. But when he connected them to his machine, he accidentally caused a massive power outage in his area, leaving everyone without electricity for hours. The police quickly arrived at his house with a warrant, searched the place, and arrested him for theft. During his court trial, Mike admitted that his real goal was to figure out lottery numbers to fund his scientific projects. After spending a few months in jail, Mike got some attention on a local radio show hosted by Art Bell, who was known for discussing strange and unusual events. On the show, Art nicknamed him Madman Mike, and Mike embraced the title, sharing stories about his lost screw and his dream of building a time machine. He even admitted on air that he was broke and lacked the parts needed for his experiments. In a bold move, he gave out his phone number on air, leading to a flood of calls over the next few days. Surprisingly, listeners began donating money, which gave Mike hope for his next, even bigger invention. He planned to test this new time machine himself by creating a strong electromagnetic field that he could step through. A year later, he returned to the radio and mentioned that if he could time travel, the only thing he'd take with him was his phone. In 1996, Mike told listeners he was just a month away from completing a legal time machine. But in 1997, he suddenly disappeared and was never seen again, sparking a lot of interest and speculation. Let's explore a story that stretches belief and time. Mike's mysterious reappearance and the 1930s puzzle. But this wasn't the strangest part. Shortly after he vanished, a listener called into the show with a bizarre story from the 1930s. They described how police found a man crushed inside a strange metal object on a beach with something that looked like a cell phone nearby. Then, decades later in 2022, Mike resurfaced online dismissing wild stories about his death and time travels to the 1930s. He also cleared up rumors about a photo circulating online saying it was actually a school kid mistakenly linked to him. Even though he tried to verify claims of his own death and debunk the story from the 1930s, Mike couldn't find any articles to back up his explanations. He clarified these points on a blog dedicated to paranormal topics using the username RealMadmanMarkham, which he had been using since 2015. But even with all this cleared up, his story still left people wondering what really happened. When asked if he plans to build a time machine, he confirmed, but mentioned that the project is currently on hold because he needs more inverters. He had some 24-volt panels in his bus that he was using for the project, but they've worn out after being exposed to the weather for too long. His fans have been encouraging him to prove that he really is Mike Madman, but so far he hasn't shown any proof. Because of this, it's unclear if Mike is still around. Some people think he might have just changed his name and decided to stay out of the public eye, while others believe his experiments with the time machine might have actually worked. Einstein's theory of general relativity explains that time is closely linked to space, creating what we call space-time. When large objects get close to strong gravitational fields, they can slow down time. This effect, known as time dilation, has been proven in experiments with atomic clocks on fast-moving airplanes or in powerful gravitational fields. Other theories, like the Gödel metric, suggest the idea of spinning universes that could allow for CTCs. However, CTCs bring up tricky problems like the famous grandfather paradox, where someone could prevent their own existence or cause other confusing outcomes. Solving these paradoxes requires a deep understanding of spacetime and the rules of cause and effect. Researchers at MIT have explored theories about using quantum teleportation and creating rules for what a time traveler can and cannot do to avoid the grandfather paradox. Though these ideas are still highly theoretical, quantum mechanics, The study of particles at the smallest scales adds another layer of complexity to time travel. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, a key concept in quantum physics, shows that there are natural limits to how precisely we can know certain properties like position and momentum at the same time. But this isn't the end of the story. Some interpretations of quantum mechanics suggest the existence of alternate timelines or parallel universes where every possible outcome of a quantum event occurs. The scientific community is buzzing with more ideas than ever that support the possibility of multiple universes existing alongside ours. One of the most debated ideas is the multiverse theory, which considers the vastness of our own universe filled with countless galaxies and suggests that the universe could be as large as 7 billion light years across. Some scientific studies have explored and in some cases supported these vast concepts. The idea of other worlds that exist alongside our own or in entirely different realms is fascinating. It makes us think beyond what we can see or touch in our daily lives. Often when we talk about these alternate worlds, we dive into big scientific concepts like string theory or the Big Bang. But here's the catch. Most of these theories don't support the idea of moving between these worlds. They see it as impossible. But let's say we could travel between these worlds. Would that count as time travel? We hit roadblocks as we dive deeper into time travel. The quest for time travel's energy. Many scientists find this idea interesting, but there are major challenges when it comes to time travel. One big problem is the amount of energy needed. Our current technology just isn't advanced enough to handle it, especially when it comes to tricky concepts like closed time-like curves or exotic matter. Going back in time might involve using wormholes, while moving forward in time would require speeds close to the speed of light. But here's the thing, our technology can't yet achieve either. We can't make objects move at light speed, and we can't create wormholes. The energy demands for time travel are also enormous. Most theories suggest that we'd need materials like negative mass or energy which don't exist in our universe as we know it. Some scientists have even imagined a time machine that doesn't need negative matter. But this machine would require more energy than what's available in the entire universe. There are also challenges related to dark energy and dark matter. These are mysterious and not fully understood, which adds to the complexity of time travel theories. On top of that, the theory of quantum gravity is still mostly theoretical. We don't have solid evidence or a deep understanding of it yet. So when it comes to time travel, we're often dealing with ideas and energies that are beyond our current understanding or ability to use. Because of this, time travel is more of a speculative topic rather than something we can actually do. It's not as simple as hopping into a machine, setting a date, and arriving at a different time. Even though there's no solid scientific proof that time travel is possible, there are some interesting stories from people who claim to have experienced it. One such story is about Sir Victor Goddard, who reportedly traveled forward in time. Back in 1935, when he was a wing commander, he was assigned to inspect an old airbase in Drem, Scotland. As he flew over the area, he noticed that the airbase was in bad shape. It was abandoned, with cattle wandering around and grass growing through the cracked tarmac. But this wasn't the strangest part. Later, during another flight, Sir Goddard flew into an unusual storm that made his plane spiral out of control. After managing to escape the storm, he was surprised to see clear skies and sunlight. But what really shocked him was the airbase. The once abandoned airbase was now busy and well maintained. He saw mechanics in blue overalls working on yellow planes that were unlike anything in the Air Force's fleet in 1935. The airbase's sudden transformation and the appearance of unknown aircraft left him puzzled. There was no way such renovations could have happened so quickly. Back in 1935, the mechanics at an airfield weren't wearing the usual brown uniforms you'd expect for their job. It was also strange that the planes were painted yellow since at that time, the military standard was to paint all aircraft silver. Sir Goddard, who was there, tried to make sense of these odd details. But 4 years later, in 1939, during a time of conflict in Europe, he visited the Drem airfield again and was shocked. Everything looked exactly as it had during his previous visit. The mechanics in blue overalls, the yellow planes, and even a specific aircraft model called the Miles Magister, which he hadn't recognized back then. Some stories mix up past and present in strange ways. A path through time, but this doesn't explain all the specific details he described. For instance, the Miles Magister hadn't even flown for the first time until 2 years after he supposedly saw it. The colors of the planes, the uniforms of the mechanics, and the sudden change from a stormy to a sunny day, these all pointed to something out of the ordinary. But this wasn't the only time someone experienced something like this. Others have also reported what seemed to be time slips. In 1988, a writer named Ken Mose shared a story in Strange magazine about a strange sighting on Highway 167. On October 20th, 1969, a businessman named L.C. and his friend Charlie were driving to Lafayette, Louisiana after having lunch in Abbeville. It was a bright, sunny day, and they were enjoying their drive with the windows down. As they drove along, they noticed an old-fashioned car coming toward them. They didn't pay much attention at first, but as it got closer, they realized it looked brand new despite its antique style. Curious, Elsie and Charlie watched closely as they passed the car and saw that it had a large orange license plate from 1940. They thought it was odd since such an old car shouldn't be on the road legally unless it was part of a parade or something similar. But this wasn't the most surprising part. When Elsie glanced at the driver, he saw a young woman dressed in 1940s fashion, complete with a feathered hat and fur coat, clothing that seemed out of place in 1969. Next to her was a small child bundled up in a coat and cap, making it hard to tell if it was a boy or a girl. This strange encounter left them both wondering if they had just crossed paths with someone from another time. Back in 1969, it wasn't just that the woman's clothes looked old-fashioned, it was also strange that she was dressed so warmly on a mild day. Even more puzzling was that she kept her car windows tightly shut, missing out on the cool breeze. As Elsie and Charlie got closer to her car, they noticed that she looked scared and upset, like something was really wrong. She kept glancing around, almost as if she was lost or desperately needed help. When Elsie called out to see if she needed anything, she quickly nodded. She seemed confused by Elsie's car, probably because it was lower to the ground than the older cars from the 40s, like hers. This made her look down as she tried to understand. Maybe because her windows were rolled up, she had trouble hearing them. Elsie motioned for her to pull over, and after a few tries, she finally seemed to understand. But when they pulled over to the side of the road and looked back, the woman and her car had vanished. On the long stretch of Highway 167, it was shocking to see no sign of her or her car. It was like they had disappeared into thin air. Then a car that had been following the old vehicle pulled up. The driver got out looking confused and asked about the car that had just been in front of him. He was worried, thinking maybe there had been an accident. The three men, Elsie, his friend, and the visitor, shared their strange experiences. The visitor suggested they report a missing person, but Elsie and his friend weren't sure what to do since they had no idea where the woman and her child had gone. They exchanged phone numbers and kept in touch for years, constantly reassuring each other that what they had seen was real. Old mysteries come back, making us question what's real. The mystery of the vanished time traveler, but what really troubled them was whether the woman and her child had somehow ended up in the wrong time, stuck between their world and ours, unable to return home. Elsie and his business partner were convinced they had seen someone from the past. The whole incident was eerily similar to a news story that two journalists had experienced 11 years earlier. In a book titled The Little Giant Book of Eerie Thrills and Unspeakable Chills, authors Ron Edwards, C.B. Colby, and John Macklin tell a bizarre story. In 1932, journalists J. Bernard Hutton and Joachim Brandt were visiting the Hamburg shipyard in Germany. As they were finishing up, they suddenly heard planes overhead. Before they knew it, bombs were falling and the whole area was being torn apart by explosions. But when Hutton and Brandt drove into Hamburg, the scene changed completely. The skies were clear and everything was calm, as if nothing had happened. There were no signs of the destruction they had just witnessed, leaving them utterly confused by the peacefulness that didn't match the chaos they had just escaped. Unsurprisingly, the newspaper's editorial team didn't believe the wild story from the two workers. Can you blame them? When Brandt proudly showed the photos he took during the strange event, he was shocked to see that everything in them looked completely normal. The shipyard appeared spotless, like nothing out of the ordinary had happened. Their co-workers dismissed their frantic tales, thinking they had probably just had too much to drink. Surely the alcohol must have clouded their judgment. Years later, just before World War II began, Bernard Hutton moved to London. In 1943, a headline in the morning paper left him utterly speechless. It seemed like some kind of cruel joke. The article described a Royal Air Force squadron's successful attack on a Hamburg shipyard, the same place he and Brandt had witnessed a strange event 11 years earlier. The vivid memory of what they saw clashed with the undeniable reality in front of him, leaving him with a haunting sense of déjà vu. Jump ahead to January 28, 2003, when a man named Andrew Carlson found himself in big trouble with the FBI. He was accused of insider trading after turning $800 into an astonishing $350 million in just 2 weeks through 126 perfect high-stakes trades. Every decision he made seemed flawless, as if he had a magic touch. Such rapid financial success was considered impossible, drawing intense attention from the Securities Exchange Commission, which led to his arrest. But here's where it gets even stranger. During the FBI interrogation, Carlson claimed he was from the year 2256. He said his knowledge of the future allowed him to predict stock movements with perfect accuracy, leading to his unbelievable success. He even offered to share future secrets like the location of Osama bin Laden and a cure for AIDS as proof of his claims. Not surprisingly, the authorities were skeptical, dismissing his story as either a joke or a con. But the strangest part? Carlson disappeared without a trace after posting bail. Despite a thorough search by federal agents, no one could find any sign of him. Even more bizarre, there were no records of his existence before his sudden appearance in the early 2000s. No birth certificate, no school records, nothing. Some people argued that Carlson couldn't have been a time traveler since he failed to convince the authorities of his incredible story while in custody. Others speculated that he might have been a very skilled con artist, someone who managed to outsmart the government and avoid any further investigations. But the real puzzle is how he could make such accurate predictions, adding yet another layer to the mystery surrounding him. Was Carlson truly a time traveler or just a master manipulator? Comment and subscribe for more.